This is an uncensored podcast about sex, sexuality, gender, and body stuff. Listener discretion is advised. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the person or persons sharing them. Some names have been changed to protect the anonymity of its participants. Hello, my friends. What the fucking fuck? Fucking fuck. Fucking fuck. Okay, there. I had to turn down my monitor. Sorry. I was yelling into my own earballs. Hi, guys. Wow. Could I be any more professional? That's the question of the week. This is Make Sex With Me, a podcast, where we will always be here for you, even if we're super, super fucking late. That's right. We're recording at 10:11 p.m. on a Thursday to release before midnight so we can get this episode to you every Thursday. That is how it be sometimes. Wow. Can we just talk about life right now? It is June still. It is June 13th to be exact. And it is Pride Month. And I would like to talk about a little bit of like my disappointment in Pride so far this year. I will say that my town had a little Pride event and it was a success. I was only there for 30 minutes of it, which is because I had to work. And I suck. Okay, but I showed up and I helped them tear down. I helped to tear down the Pride event, which symbolically felt wrong. But anyway, there was some Skittles there that had been sitting in the sun too long and they were delicious. So that was a plus. I feel like I'm S-ing real hard right now. Is that something that you like, or should I stop that? Or am I just gay? I don't know. I really don't know. So that was that. That was not the disappointment I'm referring to. The disappointment that I'm referring to came when my niece and I were so excited to experience the Pride selection. Is it selection or collection? At Target, because we fucking support Target, because Target supports gay. And we were ready. And I know last year and maybe the year before, there was all this fucking shit about, the fucking religious right assholes and conservatives not liking that, Target had a Pride collection selection. And they were like people were like harassing Target employees who, like, by the way, they're not the ones who decide like what is or is not a part of the collection. Like, they don't get to decide any of the marketing shit. That's all upstairs. So they just like go to work and they're at work whether they, Target supports Pride or Target supports, Black artists, or Target supports, fucking Prairie Lady Companion or whatever the fuck her name is. They're just like, yeah, and Target doesn't support the Prairie Lady because first of all, that's not our name. And second of all, Walmart supports the Prairie Lady. So yeah. But anyway, Prairie Woman, I want to say Prairie Home Companion, but I think that was a weird movie with Meryl Streep about like the Grand Ole Opry or something. Is that a show that is on weekly at the Grand Ole Opry, Prairie Home Companion. Okay. I hate my life. I hate myself. I'm going to knock my own teeth out right now with a bowl of pasta. Have you ever just been so No, never mind. There's not a joke there. Okay, so so we were so excited to go to Target and say like, "Hey, the gays are here." Like, and my niece isn't even gay, but she loves it. We're here and we are queer and we are ready to try on colorful garments. And I mean, we've been gaying at Target all year long, waiting for Pride anyway. I've just been trying on all of the women's apparel, just like what fits. They have some really nice big clothing for my body. And I always feel very pretty at Target. Except for this weekend, I didn't, because we walk in. Okay, so in past years, they had moved the Target. They had moved the Pride section like literally to the back of the store because they were just like, people need to calm the fuck down. They're coming in. They're like yelling at our employees. They're like starting shit. They're like telling our employees that they're like going to hell and they're evil and they're demonic. And like, they're like taking the merchandise and ruining it and doing crazy shit. And we just need to move the Pride section to at least the back of the store. And, so they did, and I'm sure a lot of other Targets did that too. And that's where it was, and we had fun, and it was closer to the dressing room, so that was, I guess, convenient. But so anyway, this year we went to where the Pride section was last year, and it wasn't there. And then we, like two little sad dogs, me and my niece Maya, we just walked around the entire store. We went around the entire store looking for a Pride section, and there was not a Pride section. And I asked the girl who was running the dressing room, I said, "Do you guys not have Pride this year?" And she said, "This year it's only online." And I said, "Is that for like every store?" She's like, "I don't know, but ours is only online." And I was like, that fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. It just fucking sucks. And like I was already not feeling great on that day because I don't know, maybe my allergies or something, but then that happened, and then I've just been feeling really like unhealthy lately, and like I just don't like I'm not having a good in my body experience lately, and I really want to come to Diet Jesus on that. But I was just feeling like, I mean, as an adult, queer adult person, just feeling kind of like, I don't feel loved right now. And it's like, I don't know who to be mad at, because like, I don't feel mad at Target per se, because like I don't want their employees to be put in potentially dangerous situations, but I do feel like the assholes are winning. And then I also was like, lately I've been hearing a lot of people talking about how Trump's gonna win, and I'm just like, fuck, because I don't know if I can handle another 4 years of Donald Trump. I don't know if any of us can. And I just feel like the assholes are winning. It's very sad. I don't know what to do. So we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. We're going to stay here. We're going to keep loving people, I guess. And I have been working really hard to not hate Republicans lately. I've been working really hard to not hate Republicans. I've been working really hard to not harbor hatred in my life as much. But it is difficult. It is very difficult. All right, so let's do some sexy internet finds. How about? Will that make us happy, please? Before we get started, I just want to let you guys know that it is still very, it would be wonderful still if you would rate, review, subscribe, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just, give us a 5-star. And I'll give you the shocker right in your pink and your stink. I'll do it. Or I won't. If that's more appealing, I won't. But those are your offers. I either will or I won't give you the shocker. And you could always email us at makesexwithmepodcast@gmail.com. And that would be cool too. I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever given a shocker? That's what I'd like to know. I don't think my hands are big enough to effectively shock somebody, and my fingers are bent. Ooh, but that one is kind of bent in a good way, maybe. Wait, 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink. Okay. So this would definitely hit. Okay, so a girl doesn't have a prostate, but if she did, this bent pinky would go really nicely into the prostate. This finger needs to bend the other way. My pointer finger needs to point the other way. Oh, no, that's not true because the clit's on the outside. So I could just use my thumb for the clit. And then what about my little ring finger? Then what? What'll it do? That's kind of sad. The ring finger doesn't get to do. That's the one you save for the person you're married to. So you're shocking your mistress and you're married to your wife. Who the fuck am I right now? I hate myself. All night long I was at rehearsal for this. I'm doing Sister Act and I'm playing like a gangster or something. And like I'm a little bit unhinged. And the scene that we're doing, we're like singing about nuns and like how we're going to seduce them in order to get into a convent so we can like get this woman we're trying to murder. It's really great. And we also have a whole song about murdering this woman in a lot of different ways. And it's kind of graphic. And for someone who listens to true crime, it's like, oh God, this is kind of disturbing. So anyway, and it was written by Alan Menken. Well, he wrote the lyrics. Wait, did he write the lyrics or did he write the music? I don't remember. Anyway, Alan Menken wrote The Little Mermaid, by the way, and like every Disney movie So, very interesting. This is the darker side of Menken. All right. So, speaking of the dark side of whatever in criminal, the criminal underworld, I am completely stealing from another podcast because I was listening to the I've Had It podcast, which is like literally one of my favorite podcasts. It's one of like the only podcasts I listen to that make me really, really happy. All the other ones make me like just, stimulated, but they're all about murder. So it's kind of like this one's really funny and they say really funny shit about like they do rag on Republicans, but I still am learning to love Republicans. But anyway, so I really like that. You should check out the podcast. It's twice a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and they don't really need my endorsement at all because they're famous. But I really do like them. Both of them, Jen and Pumps, they were both like on some kind of a reality show. I don't know what it was. It wasn't the one where you're underneath the deck of the ship. I think they had a reality show where they were just like business women in Oklahoma or something. I don't know. So anyway, they didn't even look these up. Their fucking production staff looked these up, but they're from Reddit and they do a segment called like, Who's the Asshole? Or maybe that's what it's called on Reddit. I don't know. But these ones were really sexy and they don't even have a sex podcast. So I was like, excuse me, those are mine. Thank you. All right, let's go for our next one. Okay, that's what she said. I'm literally reading the transcript from their podcast because that's how lazy I am. Am I the asshole for considering divorce because my wife... Oh, and this person's name is what? I guess they don't say. Okay. Am I the asshole for considering divorce because my wife told her friends I use a penis sleeve during sex? Wait. Does anybody know what a penis sleeve is? Oh, I'm literally reading the transcript. Okay, let me try not to like steal their actual words. Okay, 36-year-old male. I, a 36-year-old male, have been married to my wife, who's 34, for 8 years. We have 3 children, and my wife is a stay-at-home mom. Our sex life has always been great, but last year my wife wanted me to try on a penis sleeve. And so, for those of you who don't know, I actually do know what a penis sleeve is. A penis sleeve is like a really nice way of saying, like, you put your dick into a sleeve that makes your dick like girthier and possibly like longer. It like increases your dick. It's like putting a dildo cap on your dick. Putting your dick into a dildo and then putting that dildo into your wife or whatever partner. My wife wanted me to try on a penis sleeve, which actually improved our sex life even more because it hit her in the right areas. She said it's the best sex she's ever had in her life, which made me even happier. A week ago, my friend, I don't know why they had to say the age, but his friend is 35 and male, asked me about the sleeve because he's never tried it before and wanted to know what it was like. I was surprised he knew about this and asked him how did he know. He said his wife told him about it. My wife and his wife are in the same friend group. I was shocked that my wife had shared such a personal detail with her friends, and I asked her about it. When I asked her about it, she confessed that she had shared to her friend group and that she shouldn't have, but she just wanted to talk about why our sex life has become amazing recently. She apologized a lot, but I ignored her, and I told her I needed some time to process this. It's been a week, and I've been trying to ignore her as much as possible. I'm sleeping in a different room. She cooks dinner every day, but I just go out to eat because I have no mood to eat at home. There is a tense atmosphere at home, and my wife has apologized a lot, but I've just been trying to ignore her as much as possible. I don't think this can be fixed through therapy or a simple apology. I think this is a massive betrayal of my trust. It's just shocking to me that my wife would share such a personal detail with her entire friend group. I've been seriously considering the possibility of divorce. I know we have 3 children, but I don't know how I'll ever reconcile with my wife ever again. At this moment, I'd rather just pay child support and alimony than be in her presence, but I know feelings can change. Am I the asshole? Can the situation even be fixed? How do I even trust my wife anymore? All right, so I'm not going to say what they said on the podcast that I listened to it on because they well they don't, they're not a fan of this guy. I will say what I think because that's what you guys want. That's why you're listening to this podcast, right? So, and I have to put my understanding brain on. Like I have to be like, okay, I see things from the point of view of a person who's like in a monogamous relationship because I personally I'm not in the practice of like having sex and then like not telling anybody about it. I am in the I'm in the practice of having sex and then telling my friends all about it the next day at brunch or wherever, right? That's like why I started this podcast because I just wanted to like talk about sex I'm having or not having. I love talking and I love talking about sex and I love when I actually have some sex. But I love hearing about other people's sex and I just think it's something that needs to be talked about. That being said, a lot of monogamous people do not like to have their partners go off and talk about their sex lives and to other people. And it especially doesn't feel good, I guess, when you hear back from your friend that he heard from his wife who heard from your wife or whatever. Like, it does seem like a betrayal. And I'm not going to say it's not, but it's not the betrayal of like, this marriage is over because you told someone this. It's basically, okay, so it's funny that he even started the email by saying that we've had a great sex life. Our sex is so good because that was only from his perspective. He later admits that his wife said that our sex life is better than ever because you are wearing a thing that makes your penis bigger. So our sex was not the best I've ever had because your penis wasn't big enough to pleasure me. And that's not his fault. And he shouldn't feel ashamed. But, and then he seemed very like positive about like, oh, well, my penis isn't big enough to give you all the pleasure you deserve. So let me wear this sleeve that you've recommended. And then I can make you really happy. I really, really want to make you happy or whatever. And she's like, yes, wear it. Thanks. And then, so it's like, this guy is like, he needs to calm the fuck down. Okay. Like, he obviously has some real trust issues. I mean, like, this is not something, I mean, to say, oh, I know we have 3 children, but I just can't imagine like staying with her after this. It's like, she didn't cheat on you, you know? I mean, if you guys had some kind of an understanding that you weren't going to go and tell other people about your sex life, or if you think that like she would go out, if you went and talked about your sex life with your fellas and your wife found out about it, that she would be equally as hurt, that's one thing. But like, I mean, it's not nothing, but it's not what you're making it out to be. And it sounds like when you get upset, you're willing to throw in the towel. And that is, in my experience, that's a sign of a person who does not have a very large emotional intelligence. Like they're not very in touch with their emotions, and they're not willing to find out more, which is very common. But like, that's how we are when we're teenagers. We're like, oh, this person did this, and I don't know. I guess I just want to be over it. I'm just over it. I don't even want to fucking talk about it anymore. I just like, I don't ever want to see them again. Like, I'm just over it. It's like, well, yesterday you were madly in love, and then today you never want to see them again. That doesn't seem very honest to oneself. It doesn't seem very like emotionally mature. Like, what you are doing is discounting the way you feel about this and not giving yourself or your partner the opportunity to actually like discuss this and figure out what's happened, why did it happen, why you feel the way you do, why they feel the way they do. Like, there's a lot of insecurity here that needs to be explored. And I don't know, like, this person, he obviously needs to explore his insecurities about his what he's able to offer his wife, either physically or sexually or whatever. But then he has to also explore, like, I think some trust issues that he's experiencing, because he must think that like she really broke their trust, and he doesn't think he can continue. In some ways, when I hear it, I think like he's almost like, he's almost just like looking for a way to get out of the relationship. Like, maybe he just doesn't want to be married to her. And maybe like he's like, oh, she might want to leave me one day because I can't pleasure her. And like, why don't I just get out and make her look like the asshole? Or I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm reading into this a little bit too much. But I think that there's no shame in using toys. I think if you're going to decide to get married and be with the same person for the rest of your fucking life, if, incorporating some kind of toys into your sex life is like something that could make the sex hotter and better, fucking do it, right? Because you can't go sleep with someone else. So, get it. Get that sleeve, boo. And then, maybe she could get something for her vagina that makes, when you put your dick in there, it makes it feel like, a harem of mermaids are flicking your dick head with their tails. I don't know. Like, maybe she could put some seaweed up in there and it feels like a wet. Okay, never mind. Abort. So that was that one. I'm going to move to the next thing that I'm stealing from them. Reading through all the transcripts of what they said about it. They're so funny. Okay, here's the next one. Also, these are so hetero. I love when the show is super hetero. Okay. I think this one's called I Think I Developed a Kink. I'm slightly confused because I'm not actually sure if it is a kink or not. Basically, I, 28-year-old male, had been married to my wife. I don't know if it's had or have, 27-year-old female for 6 years. I think it's a really big deal on Reddit to like say your age. I'm not sure why. We were blessed with our son, who is just over 3 years old. My wife weaned our son from breast milk about 2 ish months ago, and 4 days ago at night, she was complaining that her breast felt engorged. I jokingly said I'd suck it, and instead of joking back, she just agreed, which surprised me. I think since she was super tired and uncomfortable, she really didn't care. So I did it. And at first it was gross, but then after a while I started to enjoy it. My wife had fallen asleep by now, and I think I kept going until I fell asleep because in the morning she woke me up and my head was resting on her stomach. She joked that it must have been so disgusting that I passed out, and I fake laughed and agreed. So she said she would just cope with the uncomfortable feeling and not ruin my nights. Ever since then, I've had this constant urge to do it again. But I know it's super gross and weird as an adult. Is this a kink I've accidentally developed? I'm scared of how she would view me if I told her. Has anyone had this happen to them? Any advice would be helpful. And then they edited that. They added to it later. Thanks for all the comments. It's really helped me evaluate some of the embarrassment I initially had. I mentioned it in the comments, but I'll mention it up here too. I had pretty much always been slightly grossed out by breast milk in general, so when I suddenly found myself enjoying it, I was just super embarrassed at the 180 I would be doing. I'm definitely overreacting though, and I will talk to my wife once I get home. Another thing, my wife would always wear a top too during sex because she didn't want any leaking, so I think that played a part in me not wanting to tell her the truth either. And then Big Dong Forever comments. So someone named Big Dong Forever comments, "You already done it once and she was okay with it. Don't be a wuss and suck that milk, bro." Yeah, that's pretty good. So I have to like think about these things after I read them. First of all, I think there's something sexy about that, and I'm not really sure why, because I'm not really into men, but like if I had breasts full of milk and a man wanted to suck on my breasts, I'd probably be into it. But then again, I feel like that's like what a man without breasts thinks about what if he had breasts. I think like we as men are sexualizing the breast milk scenario because we don't have breasts that produce milk in most cases. And I know for a woman who has a baby and has breast milk production, it's just business. It's just like, well, it's not just business, but it's all about feeding the baby and connecting with the baby. But I don't know. Like, I guess like if he enjoyed it and she enjoyed it and it made her breasts feel better. But then again, I'm thinking like, are you just like sucking on her boob and then just like drinking the milk? Like, do you just have a full belly full of breast milk? Also, I know this about breasts. I learned this and I will hold on to this forever because I think it's the most fascinating tidbit ever. Sorry, I had to. The mother's breast, like, takes a sample. I don't know if this is how you say it. Takes a sample of the baby's saliva when the baby is drinking the milk. And the breast is able to, with that kind of sample of saliva, it's able to figure out what the baby's body needs from the milk. I think not like in the minute, but I think like the next day or something, that milk will be, full of a different levels of nourishment that will help the baby based on like the baby's saliva from previous feedings. That is mind blowing. And don't quote me on it, but I do think it's true. And I think like a lot of like mothers listening to this, I'm not sure there's that many, would would be like, oh no, that's fucking true. I read that in a baby book for sure. So I would be, if you're still breastfeeding your kid, I can't remember if they said they're no longer breastfeeding or just like weaning. I can't remember, but I wouldn't want to like mess up like tomorrow's milk for the baby. I also wouldn't want to be like stealing milk from the baby. But it sounds like she was like not needing to give so much milk to the baby and like her breasts were really hurting. That fucking sucks. I can't even imagine. It's like doing a really heavy chest day and then having someone just like keep poking you in the pec or something. I make that sound like I have more pecs than tits, and I don't. I have a huge fleshy boobs. But, and I also, someone was saying that gynomastia is like this thing where if you just pinch around your nipple with all 5 fingers and you feel like a little thing behind your nipple, that's like a duct, and it happens sometimes in males when they have gynomastia. And I'm like, it's supposed to be like little, and I literally did that to my own self, and I was like, there's a straight up like golf ball behind my nipple. Like, I think I actually could be producing milk. And then I heard somewhere that men can produce milk from their breasts sometimes. Don't quote me on that, but it's interesting. So, you know my thing. I mean, I always say like with two consenting adults, like if you're into it and your partner's into it, why the fuck not? If no one's getting hurt, if the baby doesn't need the milk anymore, why not? If you know, want a belly full of your wife's breast milk, go at it. If she's just like, I don't want it in here anymore, you have it. Great. And especially if she could be sleeping while you do it, she's probably just like, this is great. I wake up, my tits don't hurt. This is awesome. And I mean, honestly, like, boobs are sexy. They're sexual things. You know, when a woman's not using them to feed her baby, like, they are sexual. They are part of, like, the sexual experience. So, like, I don't know, if you and your wife want to have fun with it, I mean, I wouldn't be afraid to tell her. Just, like, let her know, like, hey, by the way, the other night I did that, and it was kind of weird, but then I kind of liked it. And, I mean, she's just going to be like, ew, you perv. And you'd be like, what? I like really like your tits. And like, I don't know, then maybe you could be like, hey, can you not have your shirt on when we have sex, you know, moving forward? Like, I really, really like your boobs. And like, I don't know, if a little squirts on me during sex, like, that'd be kind of hot. You know? I don't know. It's very animal. I mean, sex is very animal. So like, not everything sexy has to make sense when it's enjoyed mutually. Like, it just, I mean, fucking, I keep seeing it in gay porn all the time where the top will be like, open your mouth. And then the bottom will open his mouth. And then the guy will just like spit into the other guy's mouth. That makes me die. That makes me hurl. I cannot. I don't like other people's spit in my mouth. That being said, I will suck your dick. I will eat your ass. I will like literally put my tongue in your mouth and lick all your teeth. I don't know why. It's the same thing, but I just don't like spit. Because I don't know, I think my thing is when spit leaves the body, it like instantly gets cold, and if it's like bubbly at all, oh my god, no. No, 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 I do not want that in my mouth. I don't want your spit. Oh, it makes me really grossed out. Okay, okay, okay. I think we finally found the one thing that makes me really grossed out, and I don't like it. Also, I had been spit on by people like talking and spitting. Oh, that grosses me out. And then a couple of times, or at least one time, I don't want to say a couple because I don't want to make it seem like it was, epidemic, but there was one time that a kid spit on the back of my coat when I was walking. He just spit on me, and he was like, a bully or something. And I was too afraid to acknowledge that he had done it. I just wanted to act like I was like, whatever, bye bitch. And like, I didn't really realize until I got home that he had done it. Like, I had to I knew it happened, but I didn't want to check until I was like not where he could see me. So yeah, I don't know if that's like some kind of trauma that makes me gag when I hear people spitting in mouths. I just hate it. I mean, I don't actually hate to watch someone do it to someone else, but the idea of someone doing it to me, nope. And I remember talking to a friend of mine. A guy did it to her when they were having sex, and she was like, no, and she was like, we're done. She shut that shit down. Actually, I think we talked about that. I think that was Princess, and I think we talked about that on the podcast. That was like season 1 or something. Yeah, it's no good. No bueno. No bueno. And I think she was like she didn't want to open her mouth because she's like, I gotta spit this out. I gotta spit this out in like a trash can. And I was like, bitch, I would not have waited. I would have spit it on the floor. I would have spit it back at him. I would have been like livid. Like the same way like you get someone's pube in your mouth. I give that right back. This is yours. Oh, I'm sorry. You left this here. What am I supposed to do? Floss my fucking teeth? Here, you have this back. Thank you. All right, guys. Super short episode today. I just had a couple things I stole. And I actually didn't just steal those today because I didn't have enough time. I actually planned that. I planned that theft. That was premeditated theft. I listened to that, I think, like a week ago and was like, I need to put this on there. And that's all that we got going on. We have a really special episode planned for next week. I hope you guys like it. And I want to do an even more special episode 2 weeks from now. But I don't want to tell you anything about it because I'm afraid it won't happen. No, it's going to happen. It's going to fucking happen. But the second one, 2 weeks from now, would actually require that I do some fucking research. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna fucking do it. All right, guys, I love you so much. Thank you for listening. And please rate, review, and subscribe. And please email us at makesexwithmepodcast@gmail.com. And please, I hope that your holes are doing really, really great this Pride season. I know that a lot of people are getting things in their holes right now, especially because it's Pride. Hope you're getting tested. I hope you are being open and honest about your sexual history with all your partners and being mindful about that viral load, sweetie. And I hope that your holes are being filled with whatever makes you happy. Okay, bye.